Good evening, everybody. It's your girl, Steph, and I'm coming to you today with our fourth week of Break the Cycle, Manifest Your Dreams. And today, we're going to talk about fighting distractions. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Stephanie Crockett. I am the author of the book, The Dream Killer, 7 Keys of Breaking the Cycle of Procrastination. Hello. If you don't already own a copy of this book, you can get it at my website at www.stephanielcrockett.com or any major book retailers like Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Books A Million. You can grab a copy of the book. So, we're going to talk about fighting distractions this week. And that is the 5th key in the book that I talk about breaking the cycle of procrastination. And one of the things that you have to do is be able to manage fighting distractions. So, all of my segments, I typically like to define the word. So Webster's Dictionary defines distraction as a thing that prevents someone from giving full attention to something else. So, for example, I'll give you a personal story. For example, when I was writing the book, what I would notice is that I would always end up searching on the internet for statistics or things that I've seen. Even this week, preparing for this segment, I was doing research on the book and on fighting distraction. And what I would notice is, if you've noticed nowadays, the web pops up ads or whatnot. So as I'm doing research and I'm trying to find the statistics, I start getting pop-up ads for Bath and Body Works because I love Bath and Body Works. And then I started getting pop-up ads for Wish because my daughter orders Wish. So I ended up getting distracted. What happened? I diverted my attention off of what I was doing, which was researching for this segment, onto something else. So one of the things I also like doing when we do these segments is talk about some statistics. So some of the things that I did find out after I broke and fought distractions is that 97%, you heard that right, 97% of college kids are distracted by their cell phones. So, hello, these things are a super distraction. 9 out of 10 drivers surveyed admitted to driving while distracted. So that's turning on a song or replying to a quick text or looking at something up on the internet. So anything that takes your mind away from the road is called distracted driving. And it is almost scary that 9 out of 10 people say I drive distracted. But I think we've gotten to a place where our culture, we just merged driving while on our cell phones into our everyday life, and we don't think anything about it. But it's distracted driving. So, and the last one was 80% of corporate Americans that were surveyed state that they're distracted at work by the office noise and coworkers' chatter. So if you hear somebody talking at work, then you also are distracted because you start wanting to hear what they're talking about, right? And you want to know, well, hold up, did she just say her boyfriend left her for her sister? Then you don't want to listen, but then sometimes you just jump up and listen to it anyway, not intentional, but that just happens to be what happens. So we want to talk about a couple things today. We want to talk about how do we fight that? How do we get around fighting distraction? And what do we do to overcome fighting distractions? So, hold on, drop my notes really fast. It's the great thing about going live. Hi, Tarina. I hope I said your name right. Hi, Tarina. Let me know where you're from. I'd love to know where you're joining me from. So, we're going to talk about how we fight them. So I'm going to give you 3 things that I've used in my experience that will help overcome and fight distractions. So the first thing, you got to know what distracts you, right? So I know that television distracts me. I know that the internet distracts me. I know that my phone distracts me. So one of the first ways of fighting distractions, oh wow, I love Florida. I think I'm coming down there in December to speak. So thanks for joining me tonight. So one of the things you have to first understand is, what is it that distracts you? So understand whether you need to turn the TV off, if you need to turn your cell phone notifications off, if you need to get a good pair of headphones. Now, last year when I ended up having a little bit of extra. I actually invested in a really good set of Bose headphones, noise canceling headphones. These things are magnificent and wonderful in all their ways. Hey Mary, thanks so much for joining my live. The Bose headphones were just so magical because when I got to a place where, like right now I'm sitting in my office, I'm in an open office, so I don't have doors on either side of my office. And what I would find out is that my kids would make so much noise all around me and it would distract me. So when I put in the headphones, I noticed that it shut out the sound. So I wasn't able to hear all the mommies, and honeys, as it ended up being for me. So the first thing that you have to do is know what distracts you. Hey Angel, thanks for joining my live. Hi Tanisha, thanks for joining my live. So first thing you want to know is what distracts you, because if you don't understand what distracts you, you won't know how to fight against distractions. So the second thing we're going to talk about today is you need to identify a committed time. So for me, I was writing a book. So I wanted to understand, I work full time, I was an entrepreneur, I was speaking, I was mentoring, I was doing things in the community. So I had to identify a time for me that was going to be beneficial for me to obtain my goal. So what I found out is that late at night is when I seem to be the sharpest to write my book. That's when my kids started to wind down, my husband started to wind down, my work day was over, I had already invested all my time in my business, and it was right before the time I would talk to my mother. As in one of the segments I talked about earlier in our journey about my accountability partner. So you got to identify committed time. So I found right around that 10:30 arena for me, if I asked committed to an hour a day, that time was the time that I could kind of lock in. And then what I did was I got agreement from my household. So I told my kids, I told my husband, I told my mother, I said, look, from 10 to 11, I'm going to focus and laser focus in on my book. Unless it's an emergency, try not to disturb me unless it's an emergency. So if it's an emergency, then, you know, understand that's a viable distraction. But if not, then try not to bother me between 10 and 11. So one of the things you also have to do when you're trying to manifest your dream is you have to be willing to identify boundaries within your own life that you're going to hold people accountable to say, I am not going to allow you to distract me in this time frame. And when you don't set those boundaries, people will cross the boundaries. Exactly, Angel. So I always find that the nighttime is super best for me. I am definitely a night owl myself, which is why most of my lives are at 10 o'clock on Fridays, right? Hello. So that's the second thing. You want to identify a committed time. So the first thing we talked about is know what distracts you. Second thing is identify committed time. The third thing is allow yourself a break. So let me talk to you about why I say allow yourself a break. So you're talking about fighting distraction, but then you're talking about allowing myself a break. So what I'm sharing with you is that writing a book, if that's what your aspiration is, for me, writing a book was the goal that I had in front of me. What I found is writing a book was going to take me longer than an hour to write. So it was going to take me longer than 2 hours. It was going to take me days to kind of invest and get it done, right? So what I ended up finding out was I was trying to sit and do everything all at once. So if my task for the day was to write 2 chapters, I was trying to sit and write 2 chapters. And then what I found out is that I started to lose quality of writing. So one of the things that also fight distraction is if you don't give yourself a break, your mind will start to wander all over the place. So you could be writing about a topic and you've been doing it for 30 minutes. If you haven't given yourself a mental break, then you're going to start thinking about, okay, well, did I cook enough food for tomorrow? What time do I need to be at school, or what time do I need to be at work? So if you don't start to give yourself breaks, you will find your mind's going to start to wander on its own. So if you put in breaks that are thoughtful, which is every 30 minutes, I'm going to take a 5-minute break. Now, whether that 5-minute break is I'm just going to sit here, take a few deep breaths, I'm going to stare out instead of off of my page so that I can give my eyes a rest from looking at paper and writing, then do that. If it's let me walk down and get something to drink, let me stretch my arms, let me do something that kind of reinvigorates me so that I can move forward in my writing or in whatever your task is that you're trying to accomplish. So we talked about know what distracts you. We talked about identifying your committed time. And then we talked about allowing yourself a break. Don't attempt to do everything all at once. So share with me, for the folks that are on the live, do you find when you're trying to manifest your dreams, when you're trying to make things happen, what are you seeing as distractions that are popping up to you? So drop a couple of those things in the comments so we can address it today. No need to join the live and walk away with just watching me talk. We're here to make things happen for everybody. So drop a couple of those things in the comments and we'll address it today. Another thing I found out with fighting distraction is, we talked about it earlier in the journey in week 1 when we're talking about creating a checklist. So what I also found is that as I kept myself accountable to my task list, that I kept myself on track and I wasn't deviating from my task list. So I wasn't adding things in as I was going through. I created a task list and I stayed committed to that task list. So I didn't allow myself to wander and I didn't allow myself to move through. Really, Miss Mary, you calling Tanisha out? All right, Tanisha, now your mom done put you out there, so you got to drop a couple things in the comments. Let me know what it is that you're battling with when it comes to distractions, because let's get it resolved today. Let's see if we can give you some tangible tools that will help you be able to overcome your distraction and manifest your dream. Another thing, really, well, yeah, Miss Mary, I agree. So, having too much to do, the best way to tackle having too much to do is taking a look at the first segment, which was done on week 1, which is about creating a task list. So in your mind, if you're carrying all that information in your brain, it will always feel overwhelming. It will always feel like you have so much going on. But until you start to put forth the effort to write it down or to even put it inside of your app, I did give 3 different app ideas to share managing your task list, so I would absolutely check out the replay of week 1. Inside of the actual comments for this video is the link to the YouTube channel that holds all of the replays for this particular journey, so I would challenge you to go out and take a look at it and start implementing better ways to get all of the things that you know you have to get accomplished out of your head and actually on paper. When you're talking about balance, I think everybody struggles with managing balance. How much time do I spend with my family? How much time do I spend with ministry for us? How much time do I spend personally? And if you're following me on my personal page, one of the things I put up this week is you cannot pour out anything from an empty cup to other people. So if your cup is empty, you can't give anything else to anybody else. So make sure you take care of yourself. Make sure that you're spending time and putting committed time into yourself, because without you being well, you can't give anything to anyone else. So phones are absolutely a distraction. Absolutely a distraction. One of the things I had to do for myself when writing during that 10 to 11 hour is I had to shut my notifications off and put my phone on do not disturb. To do that, it's very, very easy. Believe me, the world's not going to go down. The Lord has been taking care of the world. My belief is the Lord's been taking care of the world for all this time, and he's going to be able to take care of it for an hour while I'm disengaged and manifesting the dream that is in my heart. So phones are absolutely a distraction, specifically when you're talking about 97% of college-age kids are distracted in class by their phone. I mean, that is a staggering percentage. You're talking about kids that are paying to go to school and they are still distracted from the material because of their phone. So that kind of plays into discipline. I think we've gotten to a place where we're super dependent on our phones and we feel like the world will end if we don't have the phone connected to us. Let me be honest with you, I have the same problem. I actually have 2 devices, so I am double worse. But what I have found about having 2 phones is the fact that you have to determine when is your time. You need time for you, and you need to sketch out you time. And when you do that, shut down, shut your phone off. Make sure the most important people in your life know how to get in contact with you. One of the things I talk about in the book is celebrating successes. We'll see if that ends up coming to be one of the topics that we talk about in our 7-week journey. But that is absolutely something that you have to do, specifically with fighting with distractions. So I think sometimes we think the world's going to stop if we can't answer the text message right then and there. One I learned a very long time ago is that phone bill comes in my name. I pay the phone bill, so I am not obligated or enforced to answer my phone unless it's me making the decision to answer my phone. Sometimes I have to choose to not answer it for my mental health and personal health. So I would share that with the rest of you. So I would say if your phone is causing you any type of stress or distraction, that you want to limit the ability to use it, even if it's within a time frame. Just shut it off 30 minutes, an hour. You'll find out that you love life so much more when you're not worrying about what your Facebook alerts are, what your Instagram alerts are. And then by the time you come back, you have such a refined thought process, a refined vision, that you'll learn to do it way more often than you've been doing it to date. So today's topic for everyone again was fighting distractions. So far we've talked about week 1 was creating your task list. Week 2 was be realistic. Week 3 was accountability partner, and this week was fighting distractions. So as always, you know, I try to make these videos short and sweet, so they're just bite-sized consumable pieces of information. I always appreciate you guys taking a piece of your Friday and sharing it with me. So I thank you guys for joining me today. And one of my main mantras and everything that I pass on in every single video is that, hey Amber, thanks for joining my live. That, you know, we are better together. And as long as we keep moving forward, there's always going to be progress. So 2 things I want to give you before I end the live on today. One is I want to shout out a local business name. I just left from there today. The name of the shop is called Jay's Bodywork and Massage. It's in Newark, Delaware. I just left him. He is my massage therapist. I would recommend that when you're trying to create some me time in your life, I can personally vouch for Jay's Massage and Body Work. You can find him on Facebook. You can find him on, I actually believe he has a Groupon out right now where you could get a massage for a discounted fee. So I left him today. I had a terrible, terrible headache. Been having problems sleeping, resting, relaxing my mind, and I feel phenomenal. Feel great. So definitely for those who are trying to find some way to celebrate your own success and personal and have a personal downtime, I'd recommend, if you're looking for a masseuse, I'd recommend Jay's Massage and Body Work. Second off, my second piece of information is I'm connected to a whole lot of entrepreneurs. So if you are a business owner and you want others to know about your business products, I am open to sharing my page to share our entrepreneurial spirits together. So I know today I have quite a few business owners on. Thank you so much for entrusting me with a few minutes of your Friday. I have Amber Henderson on from Ambi Creations. This girl is phenomenal in all that she does. If you need a t-shirt made, a flyer, a business card, any type of graphics, anything that you need for your business, any marketing materials, make sure you contact Amber. Connect with her on Facebook, connect with her on Instagram. And let's start working together. You have Mary Smith that's on with me tonight. She also owns a business where if you need a gift bag, if you need something put together and you want it to look lovely, Miss Mary is the one that can do it. She also does personalized materials, so she does personalized towels. She can get anything you need. You wouldn't expect that would just live with her, so it passes down to her daughter Tanisha, who is my publicist. Whoop whoop for Dream PR Agency. I'm super excited about our partnership. But she doesn't just run the PR business. She does several other things. Owns a boutique, has access to several other avenues. So, and then we have none other than Angel Kelly, who is all about enriching your identity. And she is an identity coach. And I believe she is working on creating a boot camp. So for those who are trying to identify what is your true identity, how do I get in touch with it, what I would recommend is that you reach out to her, connect with her, find out when she's going to have her classes, and make sure you're there in the building. Thank you. She just put up the title. Thank you, Angel. So Mom's Time Out, I know I need it. Ladies Pampering Solutions, I know I need that too. And Self-Rejuvenation Specialist. So we have a whole lot of women connected, a whole lot of business entrepreneurship. Let's be together. Let's work together. And thank you so much for joining my live. You guys have a great Friday. If you want to see the replay, it'll be on my YouTube channel. Talk to you guys later. Bye.